is the most shattered of us all. Asila's song. Did you mean to start a war? Is that what all your days were created for? Did you think your higher purpose was to mess with that with which you should never mess with? Did you think your harsh dismissal would not be bound? Did you not know the strength that might be summoned from a scarred and a scorned and a furious woman? Did you not think that maybe there are things you said and things you did to which you should not have given vent, but to which you did? I call upon the three immortals. They will not let you rest at all. Wherever you hide, and even when you die, they'll be there waiting to wake you up once more. One for the fire that will burn like a fever, two for the water that you'll never sup, three for the wind that will blow, and it shall part you can't stretch and will never give up. But not the earth. She's for me, my fury. She'll feed me and I'm greeting, she'll help me to grow, and you'll never, ever know an end, nor quite how deep this curious wall can descend. I'm a ghost, invisible to one and all, disregarded and not thought of as being as important at all. He pushed and he pushed till I was crushed, but not quite my soul. And so, though my physical body is gone, my rage, I'm afraid, carries on. I follow him each day. I have a certain routine. I like to watch the way he combs his hair and when he shaves. I breathe on his mirror. I wait him to flinch whilst I close my eyes and, surprise, I plant kisses underneath his collar. Does he know? What does he feel? Where is the remorse that I hope might be more in evidence here? But why am I shocked? It's the same every time. It's the same every day. Killing me was never enough. I'm still in death. He makes me pay. And I call upon the immortals to judge his crimes and his opportunistic battles. I remain a ghost. And the story so far, no matter how furious my words, they have limited force. The shard of glass that still sparkles untouched beneath the bed is reminder enough. He didn't want me to live at all. He wanted me dead. I cannot give up. But what's this? Something new. A strange pattern emerging. A crease upon my one-time pillow. An indentation. It's something I've never encountered before, and now I'm wondering why. It feels so warm. I pause, sniff the air. Who's here? Could it be there's another who has entered his lair? Flashback. I remember when he touched my thigh and shot back almost as if my thigh had attacked. Oh! It's just a trick of the light. An illusory sheen. And in my mind's eye, I plump my old pillow, and I try to deny the story behind what that trick of the light might mean. For surely the gods would not be so cruel to let him replace me so soon. Surely not. Was I really that worthless? Am I really that lost? Is there no good in him left, no part that still cares? Was I always a ghost? I better go. But before I do, I will fan the flames beneath his collar. I will spit salt inside his glass of water. I will pray his thirst cannot be quenched, and I will beg my breath to make him itch. Then slowly backwards I will slip to muse of my angel, my Asila on the sweet cliff-top tips. Asila calls me. Oh, I can't deny her. Through coercive lulls and swells of the angel's life. The reliable promise of her forgiveness plays and cascades in gentle waves of angel's goodness, and if I were to catch a glimpse of her sweet face upon the morning air, then I'd swear upon the immortal's blessings that she'd come armed with fiery charms of her own sweet making. But for now, I must resist her song, sink my head further than that which tries to plague its mind, for surely there is work enough still to be done in these bitter, sweet-filled rhymes of mine. And so I'll turn to stay another day, another chance, another hope, that maybe this time I'll find a different path into his heart, a sweeter road, a smoother route. Then, when Asila's plague upon my mind forces my hand down again towards herself, I will gladly let her stake her claim, for my work upon this life will then be done. I'm back. His office is neat. He likes to flirt. It never bothered me before, but this time, it hurts. I sit on his knee whilst he chats, wonder if my presence will highlight the compelling effervescence of lies that spew from his chat. But what am I sensing? His forehead is hot, his top button undone. He is harassed, and for a moment it's hard not to feel like I have won a small, lonely victory at last, but not for long. He shrugs me off, he makes some excuse, he casts an ill-tempered glance around the small room. He says he's thirsty. But before I have time enough to consider whether his thirst is the immortal curse or my immortal's glory or not, I sense it. Impatient dismissal and hatred. And then he's gone. And I'm a havoc of room, a fabulous vomit of rhyme as ever, but still, I broke through. He felt it. And so back to my cliff tops I go, nursing the wounds of my own shattered sentiment. When I call you, won't you come? Oh, ye yielding a heart to bear my heart. I yearn for it, but more I mourn the fractious sea. The rocks, razor-bills and gilly mops, but most of all, I mourn for me. When will I have my recompense, my crave for gift of penitence? When will the fates converge to purge the hatred of his sniping tongue? When will he know right down inside the marrow of his bones that what he did to me was cruel and what he did to me was wrong? Oh, how it hurts! Oh, how it burns! Oh, how no pain in heaven, hell, nor song, nor verse could match the grief that claws inside. From knowing that my sacred loves and cares and needs and longings were so devastatingly decried, whose will is stronger? His or mine? Who might break first? Will I crush him back? Or will in shame and recognition of the battle lost, will he see me once more reduced to seek the comforting tendrils of my sweet willow? Ashes to ashes. Asila's come. Her song. I cover my ears and tell her that her liar's pals will not yet enjoy a welcome here. Dust to dust. She wants to soothe, I know, but without revenge, pray tell me where my rage might go. Besides, he felt it. He knows. And so back to him, I am obliged to go. I'm in the attic. I'm dancing the dust note ballet, tango, foxtrot, waltz. I concentrate hard. I watch the impish, politically perfect arcs of dusk sunlight filtered through grimy panes of skylight's cracked glass. As always, I blow. And as I do, I will them to show me recognition, evidence of my never-ceasing efforts to gain physical entrance to their world will someday bear me fruition. I move to turn away, but as I do, something captures my attention. A single speck of dust pirouetting in the reflection of a concealed mirror. And on closer inspection, when I peer in, hidden in cracked glass, she is there, and I see her. My angel, my Asila, I gasp. But was it not here in this very mirror, this very reflection, that at his cruel hands I found myself so reduced, so ashamed, so fragmented, so broken? But is it also not here, clear in this image, I see that my angel Asila, who sings laws and who calls but a most of all halls, was never more than a shard of my own shattered ghost? Is this why I hold back? Is this why I can never be free? Because in order to truly haunt him, I must first tame this lost heart, this Asila, who is the haunting goodness of me. For if this is so, then this time when I blow, it'll be as though for an nuclear explosion to disco dust most poetic, erratic, spellbinding profusion. I'll fall to the floor, and I'll call her. I'll be no longer wanderer, lost, no longer merely ghost, but at last, I'll be one, and I'll be us. I will be a ghost that haunts. I will be Asila. Come, let's see. One for the fire, for the burn like a fever. Shh. I'm back in his room. See how he's crouched on the floor? 2 for the water that he'll never sup. Maybe I'll slip to the larder and fetch more salt for his water. 3 for the wind that will blow and will blow. And just as I wished, and I've yearned, and I prayed for, an eye for an eye, and a ghost for a ghost. There, my precious one, let me stroke and wipe your forehead. Tuck you up and read your stories, let it be known and never be known, let it be known, I'll comfort you always. There, my glorious one, I have come to sing you a song. But what is wrong, sweet one? What is wrong? Asila, his voice. Yes, dear. A curse upon your presence here, and just like that, once more he's won, and I'm a motive dissatisfied, cupidity's nest is filled to the brim with the insidious of vipers and tongue-lashing harpies. When did all of this begin to dovetail such a ballad of incessant din? When did my perilous need and bottomless greed for his love begin? I want to start again, Asila. I want to start again. Curse our presence here, Asila. But what is this? Night time is falling. When I call you, won't you come? Oh, yielding a heart to bear my hand. Who is there to comfort us in hours of darkness that pass through the night? As tendrils that from willows weep, wrap me before they draw me down. Do they not hear our footsteps approaching? Do they not care that we might be lonely and plagued upon the angel's lap? Why do they not wait? I'm tortured into soft lament. Why do they not see? Confronted by a well-thought word. Is it true that a ghost has no right to be loved? Is it true that a ghosted father ravaged loves and reciprocated damage deserves only to suffer most a little mean taking no bite? Is it true? Of my own self. I have fallen from ether, Asila. I have sailed the crests of the waves. I have skated across the shoulders of gigantic boulders, and I have drunk the tears of the angels wherever I have wandered. Yet who's there to greet me, Asila? Who waits with a smile and wide open arms to meet me? Who is there for the lonely? And how can they help now that I'm fallen? Now that I'm broken? Why won't you believe me when I say I never meant for any of this to happen? The wall has been breached. Huh? The coin has been flipped. Huh? The door has been opened or closed. And now you must turn your back on whatever you lacked or failed to accomplish. She is right. Whatever I set out to achieve when I traversed the breach was my handshake with the devil. It can neither be fixed nor once again measured, or unless, yes, I take his hand and I force his soul to plunge with me to the depths of sin and no. Oh, Asila, yes. Do you really believe in his death that your soul will be free? Yes. Do you really believe that the soul of one you claim to hold so dear to your bones deserves to be torn from those who would not touch a hair of his head, nor allow his name to be shredded for deeds that you say you believe but have no proof of what death will exact? Is this what you believe? That his pain is worth less than your own, that only for measure, and eye for eye, and counter blow, that you yourself can purge the grief that at day's end or last croak of crow is the true thief of your peace of mind, and he only a vessel to carry your pain? Is this what you mean? Are you really so blind? Oh, I am not blind, Asila, but back here at my mirror, my sight might be shattered, but it's perfectly clear. You say you rode on giant shoulders. You say you drank the tears of angels. You say you soared on wildest oceans and trembled heights laden with thorny spikes of ice swept over. You dismiss the thrill of all of this and say you cannot rest till you can be your recompense, but why? Because the love he could endure no more deserves a lash of your tongue forevermore. But what is love, Asila? What is love if not the means to end all war? Shh! The light of dawn has come again to brush her fingertips against my cheek. I feel its warmth. I know these syllables that flood my mind are only words and not the making of any truth. Asila, his voice, Asila, hush up. I remember the mirror upon the wall, it made me look broken, it made me look small. Asila, his reflection. I see it in Attic's broken mirror. Distorted, repeated, flanked on all sides of fractured glass mementos, the overblow of all our heated moments and the proven toll of all our violent encounters. Asila, here he is here, carrying himself across old, creaking floorboards with the countenance of the wounded. Asila, here he is here, my lover, my seeker, my hater, my killer. and around him dust motes scatter as ants. And I wonder they too sense the infectiousness of his darkness, whilst outside the sun also hides, and no ray of light penetrates the gloom that descends like an ominous ringing of bells. We tend to move. I'm trapped in the status of one who believes she is worthless, a fool so deluded that even in death she might fight to determine a rat and beat the blackness of his hatred, but all along, he couldn't care less, and it was she, Asila, it was she who was haunted, and now I see what he sees, and now I see what he wants here, and before I can intercede, I see the shard of glass from beneath our bed, and it's clenched like a knife in his hands. And before my mouth has a chance to defend my stance as one who even in death has a right to exact her revenge, with one last cry, he calls, Asila! And then he shatters, and he shatters, and he shatters my mirror. Oh, no, my lonely one. Let me take it back, rewind our future. I see here, through many cracks and smithereens that catch the fleeting shadows of who we might have been. Your own pain here, reflected in shattered aspects of glass to form beneath your feet a river so swollen in grief and bleeding in sorrow, but this here mirror is not the thief of all your tomorrows, for it is I, Asila, who climbs inside your mind's eye, though I suppose it is through shattered shards of glass I spy, and it was shattered shards that armed you, the brute who jarred my soul inside as time. Ashes, Asila, no! But it's time when I blow this time. Each hair on his head will dance a jig to my breath. A rhythm of sweat that'll pour down his neck through hundreds and thousands of miniature glass replications of him and of me, through which I now see and do see. And if I could sink to my knees to bear witness to this, the horror of prohibited worlds come together, and mortals bleed mortal blood and pound to dust mortal bones, and I would, but instead I'm climbing the walls of mashes that tumble from chimneys and crumble on the ground and power formidable beasts, and the hour has come at last. The hour has come, and upon the ruins of this beggarly creature, Asila will feast. Asila, no, oh no, you don't. Not now. Look at how I've earned the right to take his head. See how he quivers, reduced to meat and wounded, tied to lie gasped and shards that sever skin and splinter fingers. But can't you see his tears, Asila? Though your wounds cannot be mended, no time reversed, no broken hearts, no shards at last sewn back together through vengeance, can you not see that it'll be only you who'll suffer? Dust to dust. Dust to dust. Your words are as lost in time and space as they are in eloquence. I will crush him to the bitter end. Let him curse me. I will curse him back to everlasting, his spirit, the blurring nature of his despicable arrogance. No, Asila, you just don't see. The devil's in the detail here. You do not exist to serve that purpose. Though power's temptation might blind your mind to what is right, this fragile mortal here, he does not deserve this. Whose will is stronger, his or yours? Who might break first? For still I do believe that if you curse him, then it'll be you who's cast adrift, that it'll be you who is left broken, who'll never rest, who'll always mourn. Can you not see that all the while you're playing devil at devil, sips to breathe the nectar of your raging scorn? Do you think that I don't know, Asila? Do you think the devil doesn't play upon my mind? This floor beneath me trembles here, this beast lay quiver at my feet, no sport. His soul bare bold and fit to burst of lustre, yes, but nothing more except the shard of glass from beneath our bed is still clenched, like a knife in his hand. And all the while I'm steeped in vengeance, my soul is exhausted, my heart is shredded, that is reminder enough. He didn't want me to live at all, he wanted me dead. It's too late now, I cannot give up, and now I see what I see. And now I see what I want here. And there's no window through which an angel can intercede. Only a faded reflection in a broken mirror. Asila. 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 One. But a fire will burn like a fever. Asila, no. Oh! But though his sight might have been shattered, it was perfectly clear. Two for the water that he'll never suck. Asila, stop. Sharpen your dagger, man. Let it be a clean cut. 3 for the wind that will blow and will blow, and as he raises his glass, and I cheered his toast, and he howls to the ether to be free of his ghost, with one last cry, he calls Asila, and he severs and severs and severs and severs. again. There was no time to kiss and make amends. For fate as fickle as moany wind, as brittle as my broken bones that beg to lure their soul return to cliffsides where they made their home, and a broken heart as shards of glass cannot be mended. See, through refracted light of glass and tears the sun shines, and I do believe the passage of humiliation and remorse has come to shed a light between us. For at last I feel it, Asila, I feel forgiveness. Ashes to ashes, our work is done. Dust to dust, if you must. So let us hold hands, let us sing it together. Asila, 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 our song. When I call you, won't you come? Oh, yielding a hand, bear my hand, as tendrils that from willows weep. Wrap me before they draw me down. I'm played upon the angel's light. I'm tortured into soft lament, confronted by a well-known world. The little me, save to mortal bite, my own self. How could it be I could believe this tender coil might spark a storm, and leave its mark so permanently on so many hearts, so many beats, so many souls have gone before? Such frailty of life, it seems, that might be snapped, just like a twig, then cast so unremarkably to silent vaults of everything that we once had, all we once loved, all we once did. Who are we to think we matter? Who is there to truly care? When some squalls rage, whenever whether some embrace is craved, we cannot share. So when I call you, won't you come? Oh, yielding earth to bear my hands as tendrils that from willows weep at me before they draw me down. For if you do, I will never die, but dance immortal as my dreams, on summer's rays and winter's storms, and autumn's cloak and spring's fine wings. For if you do, I will fly, not fall. There'll be no tears for you to cry. They'll say I called and that you came, and when I leapt with joy. And with joy I kissed my earth. I kissed and kissed and kissed my earth. And with joy I kissed my earth. I kissed my earth for one last time.
Wander in shrouds across waters of light, from 10 fathoms deep they rise. Yet their bones are not made for the sweet seashore, though the wave's just a ghost with flight. They pounded the spray of the oceans afraid, and wept at the drop of the moon. Yet the haunts in their heads must find peace on seabeds. That's the lot of the sea ghost's ruin. That's the lot of the sea ghost's ruin. They are slender as mists, and they dance in the skim of the wake and the ebb and flow. They skate on the back of the great dolphin, sing the hush of the great conch shell. They are battered by storms that are ink as the night, hearts mighty as any swell. Yet the haunts in their heads must find peace on seabeds. That's the curse of the sea ghost's tale. That's the curse of the sea ghost's tale. Harp a shell to your ear and they'll pour you a song, lure you deeper than depths can go. Where the ships are marooned in a vision of blue, and secrets too many to tell. Though you'll hear of their deeds, misdemeanors and fears, feel the ache of their wounds in your soul. Yet the haunts in their heads must find peace on seabeds. That's the tomb of the sea ghost's bones. That's the tomb of the sea ghost.